Good afternoon, everyone. It's Jeff Jenkins and Eric Klayman here again for our pretty much weekly Facebook Live program. This week we thought we'd do a program about utility shutoffs, foreclosures, landlord-tenant court, and evictions, and talk about kind of where these things are. But we've talked about that a lot. But we want to also go over today if you needed to use a bankruptcy to take care of these various problems, how that would work. Because, I mean, for almost for every one of those problems that I just mentioned, bankruptcy is a great solution. I don't say that because we're bankruptcy attorneys, but this is the kind of thing the bankruptcy laws were designed for, to help people who are behind with their mortgage on their house or their rent or their utilities, so that nothing bad happens. They don't end up out in the street or freezing in their house because everything got shut off or whatever. And just to make note of things, the utility shutoff moratorium is now set to expire at the end of June, 6/30/21. That could change. The eviction moratorium from our governor expires 5/19/21 unless he extends it. And the Supreme Court is still not allowing landlord-tenant trials. So while landlords can file complaints, summary dispossess actions, we call them, it can never go to the point, get in front of a judge where the judge would be able to sign a judgment for possession. And that's the thing that we're concerned about, because once that happens, if you then file a bankruptcy, we can't stop the eviction process. And it should be obvious to everybody with all our, Eric just got his first shot today, by the way. His arm was bleeding, that's why he had to change his shirt. So, but with all the people are getting their shots, things seem to be getting better, things are winding down, and that means that all of these moratoriums are going to come to an end, and people that owe their mortgage are going to need to do something about it, and people that are behind with their rent are going to need to do something about it. Same with utilities, and that's why we wanted to do our particular topic today.
Right, Jeff. And I think one of the points you mentioned deserves to be repeated.
Okay.
We look for Congress, we look for our president to sign, Congress to write the laws, president to sign them into law, and we look for help. Or we're behind with our rent, we're behind with utilities, we're behind with our mortgage. We look for help, and what's interesting is the help is already in the law. There's a particular area of the law that does stop evictions, stop foreclosures, and keep your utilities on. And that's what you were saying. I'm just saying it for emphasis. And we've been doing this for years. Remember, your landlord, your mortgage, or your mortgage company are going to hire lawyers to help them. They're not going to do a foreclosure without hiring a lawyer. They're not going to do an eviction for the most part. Occasionally, you'll see a pro se landlord. Pro se means self-represented is the term they want us to use now, rather than pro se. But you'll see some self-represented landlords. But for the most part, landlords hire lawyers. Banks and mortgage company hire lawyers. So if you're fighting them, you want to fight them in court and defend yourself, filing a bankruptcy or otherwise, you need to hire a lawyer too. And one of the great balancing mechanisms is the bankruptcy court. Because interestingly, the lawyers who represent those people who file bankruptcy usually have more experience and are more comfortable in bankruptcy court than the big banks lawyers who go there also. And Jeff and I have been doing this for more than 30, how long have we been doing this?
35 years.
35 years. We're pretty comfortable in court for you. And whether court is done by Zoom or by phone or in person, you're going to have a lawyer that knows what they're doing in court. And today, Jeff, in addition to talking about the law like this, I did want to point out about your book, okay? And if anyone wants to call, you see the phone number on the bottom, 856-546-9696. If you call and say you're watching us on Facebook, we'll send you the book right now, okay? you want to stop by, you can pick it up, but I think you probably want it mailed to you. So give us a call right now. We're going to send you this book. See, this is what our law firm does. We help the consumer. We help your family. Jeff, how many clients have you seen that come in and the husband and the wife are really arguing, but they're not arguing because they don't love each other anymore. They're arguing because they don't know what to do.
Yeah, you see it quite often. I wouldn't say a majority of the time, even, but you do see it a fair amount. And financial problems causes stress in a marriage. There's no doubt about that. And sometimes we end up, like Eric says, bearing witness to the stress because we've got two people in front of us that are bickering with one another. It's your fault. No, it's your fault. Whatever.
And we can all be together, and we all want to get you out of this, okay? We want happy clients.
That's right.
So people come in here with a lot, you want to exhale the bull crap and inhale the good crap. And we'll give you a lot of good stuff to think about. Remember, the moment you file a bankruptcy petition, you are protected from virtually all collection actions. Jeff and I have been focused today on keeping your utilities on, stopping an eviction, stopping a sheriff's sale. But Jeff, it's more than that. If your car is subject to repossession, or even if it has been repossessed, if it's immediately thereafter, if the IRS is garnishing your wages, if the IRS is taking your stimulus check, and it's not for child support, but it's just for the IRS for a tax debt, if a credit card company has a wage garnishment against you, we stop all that, right, by filing a bankruptcy. That's right. And it really, so if there is a little back and forth, sometimes even law partners go back and forth sometimes.
They do sometimes.
This really does help. People walk in crying and walk out smiling. And Jeff, how are we seeing our clients now? I mean, you talked about the fact that I got my first vaccine today. You're probably going to get one.
10 days or something.
Yeah, I butted ahead of you. Sorry, Sorry. So, and this is typical for what we're seeing of our New Jersey clients. Jeff, how can clients see us right now if they want to?
Well, when the COVID-19 started, hunker down, we made a decision to try to do things over the phone or with a computer, like Zoom. It's nice if we can at least see our clients and they can see us, we feel. But lately, we've started to see people again in the office, and we're happy to do that. So basically, if you call us, we're going to give you the option of meeting with us in person or meeting us on Zoom. And so we can do things, and you can be there in the comfort and safety of your own home and not leave it. We can file a bankruptcy for people the same day if they have everything that we need, and we can do it all over the phone with you sitting at your house if that's the way you want to do it. If you want to come in here and see us, we're happy to see you.
Right, Jeff, and that's important, and that's the difference between hiring a law firm than hiring a one-woman lawyer firm. It's very hard for them to make promises like that they can do it in one day. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4 lawyers, almost 5 lawyers sometimes. Probably today we're at 4 attorneys, and we can promise that and we can deliver. If you have all your bills together, we can file a bankruptcy the same day. We really can.
Yeah, absolutely. Not a problem at all.
And that's what we do. So, Jeff, you talked about the fact that the eviction moratorium by the governor ends. It's really, the way I interpret the law, it's 60 days after the emergency ends, I think, which was what, March 19th, March 20th. So what did you say, June 19th or June 20th or something like that?
Well, he says the emergency is going to be over in 30 days, but then every 30 days, he said the same thing for another 30 days. So when he does one of these executive orders, the order, he's going out a month. He's saying, I decree today that the crisis is going to be over on such and such a day, and then his order expires 30 days after the end of that. So that's where you get the 60 days from.
Okay, I thought it was 60 days, but okay, it expires in 30 days, you think? Okay.
Right, but 60 days from when he did the order.
Okay, 60 days, right.
Yeah.
So that's where, the next time we're going to hear from our governor is when then? March the
Well, I would think that we would hear from them in April. I mean, it's been every month, like the 19th or the 20th, so probably around then in April.
Yeah, we'll figure this out.
Yeah.
But it's very confusing for people. Jeff still reads the newspaper. I do too, but I like to make fun of him. And we're trying to stay on top of this as we're lawyers, and it's really been challenging. The whole thing is challenging. And there are words in our vocabulary, Jeff, that are new. For instance, you used the word several times today, moratorium. How would you define that for people, Jeff?
Well, moratorium is bringing things to an end or maybe stopping them from happening. And but you don't hear that very often, do you?
No, and another word we're hearing all the time, and I think it's confusing our clients who have mortgages. They use the term, your mortgage is in forbearance.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
Well, in some of these bills and some of the executive orders that have come out from the president, really, certain federally backed mortgage loans have been given the power to forbear. In other words, somebody's behind with their mortgage, but the mortgage company is saying, okay, we're not going to do anything about it right now. We're going to grant you a forbearance. So even though the months go by here and you can't pay your mortgage, we're promising you that we're not going to do anything about it. But of course, like we've talked about again and again, all good things come to an end, and forbearances come to an end too. It's not a forgiveness.
There you go. That's the definitional difference.
Not a forgiveness. They're just holding off, knowing that you need some time to get things together. And since we're talking about that, I should point out, and we have pointed out before, that with certain of the federally backed mortgages, the mortgage companies have been told by the federal government that when a forbearance is over, they can, rather than put the borrower through a loss mitigation process where they look and see, should this person get a loan modification or what should we do? They can simply put the months that the forbearance covered, the missed mortgage payments, at the end of the loan. And I would suspect that a lot of them will do that because they have so many people in forbearance that to do that, the regular loss mitigation process with millions of people would be onerous. It would be something the mortgage companies couldn't handle. But just to put it on the end of the loan is works for them. But I mean, all kinds of things come into play here that, I mean, what if the mortgage company gave you forbearance starting on a particular date and it went for 12 months, but at the time they gave it to you, you were behind 6 months with the mortgage? Yes. Or what if you already had a foreclosure going on and just hadn't gone anywhere yet for those 6 months? And they said, okay, we'll give you forbearance, for the next 12 months.
Month 7 to month 19, but
yeah,
no.
Right. But what about the months that predated the grant of that forbearance? And if the crisis is deemed to be over, then perhaps if you are not able to make your payments after that date, forbearance isn't going to cover them. I don't know. But at some point, you're going to have to do something about them. And so we wanted to talk today, just to remind everybody about how bankruptcy works with mortgage arrears. Eric, come on.
Yeah, let's talk about that. There's two major concepts, and we've talked about one a little bit, but it's the automatic stay. So as long as there hasn't been a sheriff's sale yet, there's been no sheriff's sales in New Jersey. So you file a bankruptcy and all collection actions, including the foreclosure, is stopped, immediately stopped. It's called the automatic stay, which stays or stops all collection actions. So you're protected. Can't go forward with the foreclosure at all. It's stopped. And the second concept is what's called an arrears cure plan. And the bankruptcy code allows people like you and like me to take the missing mortgage payments and divide them up over 36 to 60 months, 3 years to 5 years. So if we file bankruptcy in March, Jeff, then in April, the client resumes regular monthly payments directly to the mortgage company. Mm-hmm. Even if they're behind, the mortgage company has to accept them.
Must accept.
And that's an important concept because so many of our clients say, well, I can't make a payment, they won't accept. Yes, they will. You filed bankruptcy. Okay, so number one.
And you make sure they do as your attorneys. If they didn't, we'll send the payment to the mortgage company's attorneys and tell them this client's got to accept it.
And they will.
Yeah.
And then number two, you make a new payment to a trustee. Trustee is not part of our office. There's 3 trustees in New Jersey, one generally in Newark, one generally in Trenton, and one generally in Camden and Atlantic City. Okay.
And those are the Chapter 13 trustees.
Right. And that trustee will take your money and over 36 to 60 months pay the mortgage back from your money. But the mortgage company will accept whatever they get from the trustee. So in a very, very simple example, if you're $24,000 behind with your mortgage, but things are better now, beginning the next month, April, you pay regular monthly mortgage payments, and then you pay $400 a month for 60 months, and the trustee takes that money and pays back the mortgage. So at the end of 60 months, you've paid down your mortgage significantly. It's like turbocharging to get equity in your house because you're paying your regular payment plus this other $24,000. So you're paying down your mortgage and you're out of foreclosure. And Jeff, for most of our clients, in addition to saving their house, paying down their mortgage, there's 2 or 3 other benefits. First of all, for most of our clients, the credit cards and medical bills, which caused some of this problem, are wiped out or significantly reduced. And secondly, it takes maybe 3-4 months to have this plan approved or confirmed by the judge. Mm-hmm. Once it's approved or confirmed, we want our clients to get back on their feet credit-wise, Jeff. We have a program for that, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a company that we started doing business with maybe a year ago or so, and real nice man runs the company. He's made it his life's work to help people fix their credit reports. And now he deals pretty much exclusively with bankruptcy attorneys like us. So every month we pay him some money. And when our clients in a Chapter 7 get a discharge or in a Chapter 13 get their plan confirmed, we send their names to this friend of ours and he will start sending them emails. And so if our clients want to continue with that, it won't cost them a dime. It's our gift to our clients. They're doing a bankruptcy with us. We're doing this extra thing to help them get their credit report in good shape. And they don't have to pay a penny. Phil is his name, our friend, will send them emails each month telling them what to do with their credit report. And if they want to do it, great. If they don't, fine. But the point is, we have so many people say, what's this going to do to my credit report? Well, and we're saying, we can help you fix your credit report. It's not going to cost you anything. And usually Phil tries to get your score back to like 720, which is a good score. He calls this program 720 program. And he's done this for 70,000 people, at least.
70,001. So that's what we can do for the foreclosure. It's very, very similar with the rental arrears, although typically the numbers aren't that big. Hopefully you're not $24,000.
Yeah. Eric, before we get to rent, maybe you could talk about what if we get somebody in here who, for one reason or another, hasn't paid their mortgage for a long time, and maybe they owe $100,000 in arrears or something like that.
Jeff, we still help those clients all the time. Remember what I said, the 2 big facts in your favor, the 2 big areas of the law in your favor when you file bankruptcy. Number 1 is that automatic stay. Mm-hmm. If you're coming to see us and you're $150,000 behind, what a relief that I'm telling you. Jeff will tell you that there's the automatic stay. There's no more foreclosure. Breathe. Cut your grass if the weather stays nice. You're going to stay there for a little while, okay? We're going to help you do that, mm-hmm. All right? So just settle down and let's go through what we can do. What we typically recommend is then a 2-part plan. And number 1, once again, we typically recommend you resume regular monthly payments to your mortgage company. And again, they'll accept them. But the second part of the plan is a little different. We can't do an arrears cure. It's not practical. It's not affordable. But the mortgage company wants to be paid and you want to save your house. So what we do is we recommend a loan modification. This is different than COVID. This occurred before the pandemic and it's continued. The mortgage companies, all the big ones, have departments that review people's loan modifications. And we strongly recommend that you file bankruptcy first. So you're protected by the automatic stay. You can take that deep breath, and then we'll help you go through the loan modification process. And we get loan modification approvals. It slowed down a little bit because of COVID. I was going to say twice a week, 3 times a week. Maybe now it's once a week, once every 2 weeks. But we're getting these approvals. They're still doing them. Mm-hmm. And again, all it takes is a resumption of mortgage payments and go through the loan modification process. Now, if you can't afford to resume mortgage payments, then we have to have a real talk, because the chance that, some houses just become unaffordable. But Jeff, if a house becomes unaffordable and the client doesn't even like the house, the house has, the next door neighbor has 6 barking German Shepherds, they owe $700,000, the house is worth $200,000. We can help someone stay in that house and then get a fresh start when they want to move, right?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we could do a plan to surrender the property, for example. And we do that because if people don't want to stay in the house, or they've got a vacation home they want to get rid of, it's become unaffordable, we can always surrender the property. And if we do that, one of the things that the discharge will do for our clients is it'll eliminate their liability on the mortgage note, the IOU $200,000 or whatever it is. And what that means is the mortgage company can never get their property at sheriff's sale or sell it.
But they can do that, right?
I know, but after that, they can't sue them for a deficiency. Right. That's what I was getting to. Yeah. So because the liability on the mortgage note has been extinguished because our clients went through bankruptcy.
And that's either Chapter 7, which we can get them in and out of, we can get people in and out of bankruptcy in 3 or 4 months, or Chapter 13. We have many people that need a 13 to save a car or to pay back the IRS over time, but don't want the house anymore.
Right. Could be multiple things.
So we're saving what we need to save and get rid of what we need to get rid of. And Jeff, sometimes when you don't pay a debt, there's tax consequences. But when a debt is forgiven in bankruptcy, that's another huge advantage, isn't it?
There are none. If the federal bankruptcy judge is the only one in our judicial system that can forgive debts. And when they forgive debts, there are no tax consequences. Normally, the IRS would see forgiveness of debt as realization of income. So if you made a deal with a credit card company, you owed them $10,000, and they say, if we'll take 5 and call it quits. Great. So you've sent them $5,000, and then you're probably shocked when you see the bill come in from the IRS that you owe taxes on the other $5,000 they forgave, but that's the way it is. But not with a bankruptcy. The bankruptcy, when debts get discharged, they're just erased, no tax consequences whatsoever.
That's perfect, Jeff. Jeff, the fastest and best 20 minutes on the internet.
Yeah, really. We kind of skipped through the landlord-tenant stuff, but we could probably talk about that a little bit next week.
Sure, I guess. I would enjoy talking about that next week, and we might get a little bit of an update from the governor by next week anyway. It's so fluid, the landlord-tenant stuff.
It is. We have to keep checking here, there, and elsewhere to
and it's
find
New
out
Jersey
exactly
specific.
What's going on. Yes.
So it's a little harder. It's New Jersey specific. It's generally not federal.
Yeah.
So we'll make sure we fine tune that. But if you're having problems with your landlord, paying your landlord, please give us a call. And again, I'm going to let you close, but I'm going to say there's the phone number on the bottom. Please call and ask for Jeff's book. It's very, very instructive. And we're not being pushy. You just get a free book. Read it. That's all it is.
Yeah.
No obligation. Just get a free book and give us a call, okay?
Yep. So thanks a lot for tuning in again. We enjoyed talking to everyone. We'll be back same time, same place next week, Thursday at 2 p.m. So until then, everybody stay safe and God bless.